Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Alive at the Waterhole. We have started off the day here in Oldonyo over in Kenya. We have got lovely green scenery in front of us. Also looks rather cloudy and mysterious, this weather here in Oldonyo in Kenya. We have two giraffe that hopefully will come down to the watering hole for a bit of a drink. My name is Kerry Dupree, everybody, and I will be your naturalist presenter for the day. With us on the directors team, we have Chulu, and on the tech side, we have Marcel. It is a lovely day here in Johannesburg. We've got some nice rainy, cool weather, which looks like very similar to the weather over in Oldonyo. Nice cloudy skies, giving everyone a bit of a break from the heat and all of this hot weather we've been having. So just a reminder, folks, that this is a live and interactive experience. If you're watching on your app or the website, you can go and register to ask any questions. Let me know if there's any specific locations you'd like to check out today, any birds that anyone has that they'd like to tick off their birding lists, or any particular interests any of our viewers have for the day. You can also head over to X, use the hashtag, or of course use the QR code on screen to send through those comments and questions. We might have a few bird quizzes today or send out another bit of a birding poll. So I'd love you to join in and see what you have to say and how good our birding skills are for the day. Giraffes don't seem to be moving too much. Don't have the best view, but looks like we've got a big male giraffe, a dark male giraffe on the left-hand side, and could be a female that's joining him on the right. Looks a lot lighter. Doesn't seem to have as large ossicones as that male. So I must say it is lovely to see Oldonyo in a bit of a green state. It's been obviously received a lot of rainfall here in Kenya, so lovely to see some nice green grass around this pan and see that the environment is definitely looking happy and lush with all the rains that have been falling over in Kenya. We'll keep a lookout if we can see our secretary birds. We were at this location yesterday. Didn't see our secretary birds around. There's a pair of secretary birds that do nest close to this pan. There's some very beautiful flat-crowned acacia-looking trees that are a perfect place for our secretary birds to nest up in the top of these trees that we're looking at. Penelope Kenyon, thank you for joining us again today. It is a lovely day in South Africa, and I'm glad that you're also receiving some rainfall over in KwaZulu Natal. And yeah, definitely not a day you want to be down on the beach. If you do go for a beach walk today, Penelope, I hope you keep bundled up nice and warm and be careful of the hectic sand storms when the wind blows that sand through. But yeah, any day is a good day for a beach walk, but yeah, the rainy weather makes it a little bit more miserable. It's still lovely to be out there and lovely to be here with you today. So yeah, this is a nice big male giraffe. You can see those ossicones, quite large ossicones, and you can see obviously with the rainy seasons it does come a bit of a flush of a parasite, so lots of flies around. While this male giraffe is probably swishing away with his tail there, disturbed by all the insects. As giraffe are one of the tallest land mammals, reaching about 17 to 18 feet, or anything between 5 to 5.5 meters tall, and that's a big male. Big females are about 14 feet, or just over 4 meters. Look at that long neck that they have there. And it looks like we have a little ox picker coming to give our giraffe a bit of a grooming session, combing through his hair, looking for some parasites, any ectoparasites, or particularly those ticks that might be laden within this giraffe's fur. Little Peppy, thank you for joining us today. It does look like a very blessed day. I do love these overcast days while on safari. Um, never know what might happen. Yeah, sometimes it does mean get the predators that might be out and about lurking because the weather's a bit more favorable. So, yeah, it's always kind of unexpected. You never know what to expect in this kind of weather. You do see a lot of the antelope lying down, more relaxed underneath the trees, which might give the predators a bit more of an advantage to make a bit of a hunt for the kill. Joanne Mello, thank you for joining us again. Lovely to see some of our viewers that often watch the Live at the Waterhole back in action. I'm sure we're looking forward to a lovely day here live at the Waterhole. Oh, so it's actually not a female. So this is also another male. So it kind of breaks the whole myth of the fact that a lot of people believe that in giraffe only the males are a darker color, whereas yeah, it's a bit of a myth that we've just busted right here. So this is also a male. So you can see his ossicones. Shame he's got one ossicone that's slightly um, more a bit deformed or a bit larger than the ossicone on the left. So yeah, this is a nice big male. It is more of the pigment and genetics that will determine the coloration of these giraffes. I have seen very dark females and again very light males. It can also be something that comes with age. Sometimes as they age, they do get darker. But generally, the coloration of these giraffe is dependent on their genes and genetics, and also might also be also linked to the distribution. So it's always kind of a debate between how many subspecies of giraffe. I believe at the moment there are sitting on 9 different subspecies of giraffe within Africa, but yeah, they're normally between 7 to 9. I know they're always constantly reclassifying and finding out that there's certain individuals that might actually home ranges overlap and distributions. That would look this little oxpecker is sitting was sitting right on this giraffe's chinny chin chin. So isn't it incredible that despite this height of these giraffes, that they do actually have the same number of neck bones as humans, and their hearts can actually weigh up to about 25 pounds. And they need the reason they have such a big heart is in order to be able to pump blood to their brains. They need to have a very large heart to pump that blood all the way up to their brain. I wonder what this giraffe is busy looking at. One of my favorite features of the giraffe is obviously that blue tongue of theirs. A very long blue tongue and measuring anything between 30 to 35 centimeters, very hardy as well, very rubbery, and that's what they use to wrap around these nasty thorny acacia branches and pull off the vegetation. So perfect habitat. These giraffe need to be in areas with lots of acacia trees in order to feed on those leaves. So, Catherine, thanks for your comment there. Yes, definitely agreed with you there. Overcast weather is your perfect kind of weather for some incredible wildlife sightings. But again, it's not always a photographer's paradise because the light is not always great. But it does give you a bit of a challenge. I've seen incredible pictures of cheetah in the rain. Oop. Sorry, folks, I think we had a bit of a technical challenge with our camera there. We've just linked across to Juma. I think it's Juma in the Sabi Sands. Let's see what's lurking about in Juma. So it looks like it's also lovely overcast weather in Juma. Wonder if anything's coming down to the watering hole to have a bit of a drink. Anything lurking about. I do know obviously a lot of animals do like to hide in this cold weather, get out of the wind. If you find some wildebeest in an open flay area, you'll also often find them lying down. Yeah, just trying to get out of that nasty wind if it's a bit cold and unbearable. Is it a woodland kingfish I can hear? So I know there obviously has been quite a lot of sightings of Queen of Juma, Tlalamba, and Tupondo that have been sighted recently. So maybe if we're lucky, they'll still be around. That little one of Tlalambas is definitely growing up very quickly. I'm dying to be able to see her little cub before he gets too big. Got a long-tailed starling there, hanging out by the water, looking for a bit of a morning snack. All right, why don't we go and check out one of our other locations and see what else is out there this morning? Right, wow, waterbuck at Tembe Elephant Park. Oh my gosh, how unusual. I must say, I don't often see waterbuck at Tembe. Quite an unusual sighting. Seems a bit cautious or nervy. Maybe he's just being wary in case there's any lions around. Oh, isn't that lovely listening to these sounds? Tembe has been quite productive birding wise. Lovely sounds. There's European bee eaters calling overhead. There's sounds like aeromomola calling in the background. We also have some sombre greenbills. And our woolly neck stork has also come to join us today. Just enjoying these beautiful sounds of this incredible location we have here in Maputoland, South Africa. So Waterbuck is really having a good drink. This looks like a solitary bull on his own.
There's a big male leopard coming this way.
What an absolute beauty. Yeah, guys, we got Lalamba and Cub. We got Lalamba and Shapondo. Look at this. This is amazing.
We are thrilled to announce our new exclusive feature for YouTube members and explorers. Join us live every Tuesday for our sunrise and sunset safaris. Experience Tawny Tuesday like never before with up-close encounters and breathtaking moments. Don't miss out. Become a YouTube member or explorer today and immerse yourself in the heart of the bush. See you Tuesday. Come with us on a beautiful wildlife journey with Safari Spotlight. 4 unique South African locations, countless unforgettable moments, jam-packed with exhilarating and inspiring wildlife sightings. Bringing you intimate and exciting virtual safaris.
And it jumped up like this and shimmied all the way up.
Enjoy jaw-dropping moments as we tell authentic conservation stories. Safari Spotlight is your ticket into the heart of the African wild.
Kenya's people, the landscapes and spectacular wildlife make it the ultimate safari destination. Come with me to the Masai Mara and Amboseli in May 2025. We'll explore the vast savannas looking for predators and then marvel at Kilimanjaro as the last big tuskers graze below. This safari is the perfect nature connection to calm the soul and escape from the world's folly.
Isn't this male waterbuck just stunning? Very handsome male waterbuck. They have long spiraled horns which can grow up to about 100 to 110 centimeters or about 40 to 45 inches. The horns are used as a defense mechanism during their dominance display. So the males, when fighting for the female's affection, will use these horns of theirs in order to ward off or chase off their rivals to win mating rights. And of course, you do get that distinctive white ring around a waterbuck's rump, which of course has many different myths in a lot of African cultures. There are a lot of stories across Africa that kind of give a good theory as to why these waterbuck have that ring around their backside. So one of the stories is that during the Noah's Ark and during the time of when they ran out of water, a waterbuck would often lead people to water. So they knew that this antelope was a very good indicator of water. So what they would do is they would actually paint a ring around the waterbuck's backside so that they could follow him to water. So it'd be easier to see him through the bush and he would lead them to water. So yeah, a lot of interesting myths, facts and fables about why the waterbuck got the ring around his bottom. Oh, looks like we've got some impala there. And our white-faced whistling ducks. So one female impala. Unusual for a female to be on her own, but I mean this time of year you do get a lot of the impala that might be ready to have their baby, so she could have separated herself from the rest of the family in order to give birth and let her baby imprint on her. Often a lot of antelope species, the females, same as with waterbuck, will actually separate themselves from the rest of the herd a few days before giving birth, and they'll actually stay away from the herd a few days after giving birth as well, sometimes even up to a week, while they will hide and stow away their little babies in the bush while they go and feed. And this is an imprinting time so that their offspring can learn the scent and smell of their mother, so that when they rejoin with the group again, that it's going to be a bit more difficult for the little one to get lost. So, yeah, I was actually watching a documentary yesterday about flamingos and this imprinting process on flamingos as well. So it's incredible how, impala can have big herds, anything up to a few hundred impala in one herd. If you think of all those flamingos, thousands and thousands of flamingos that all flock together in these areas for breeding, especially like in the Makgadikgadi pans, so in Botswana and parts around the Delta, when the flamingos come for breeding, and there's thousands of flamingos, but the parent and the chick do know each other's calls very well. It helps to prevent them from losing their chicks or losing the adults. How crazy. It looks like we have two little juvenile African jacanas, the Jesus bird and our woolly neck stork. Looking for some insects and grubs this morning, so this impala does look like she hasn't given birth yet. She still looks rather round, so I'm sure she's probably going to give birth in the next 24 to 48 hours. Oh, and she has a friend as well. Darkman lover, thank you for joining us again. I hope that you enjoy the day with us live here at the waterhole. It's definitely starting off the show on a great note. I must say, this weather surely does help. I'm sure all these animals are also very relieved to have some nice cool weather, as it has been absolutely scorching hot recently, the last couple of weeks. A lot of heat waves, a lot of parts of Africa. My favorite heat wave moment was there's one game reserve that had a honey badger that actually walked straight into camp and decided to have a little bit of a swim in the bird bath. Yeah, it was quite entertaining. I think the heat wave was also getting to that poor honey badger. So this female impala looks like she's not in the best of condition. You can see a bit of her hip and ribs are showing there. So shame, she's probably a bit of an older female impala. The older these impala get, the kind of wider and wider apart their intervals will be between when they have one calf to the next. It kind of starts to take its toll on their body. So in order to give them a bit of a break, they might have a wider interval between calving or birthing periods.
Join Wild Earth Travel on a unique nature adventure in the Greater Kruger Park. Legendary master tracker Renius Mhlongo leads a 4-day animal tracking experience followed by 3 nights in the Sabi Sand Nature Reserve. This experience offers a life-changing chance to track Africa's iconic animals on foot with a master of his craft. Renius is joined by Wild Earth presenter and expert storyteller Amy Krantz, and together they will connect you to Africa's wild heart. Join the Wild Earth YouTube superfan community and unlock a world of additional perks. Get exclusive early access or discounts to Wild Earth travel deals. Wear the best bush attire with merchandising discounts. Enjoy an interactive live monthly private safari. Don't miss out on the ultimate fan experience. Join the YouTube superfan community today. today. It's finally here, the next Wild Earth Grand Tour. Get ready for 7 unforgettable nights of prime wildlife viewing in the Sabi Sands during peak predator season. Immerse yourself with past and present Wild Earth presenters, participate in a rhino conservation experience, and get a behind-the-scenes look at wildlife filmmaking. Hosted by James Hendry, Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
Like just having a bit of a listen to see what other birds are calling out there. Seems like we've got our weavers are back. We have the village weavers or mast weavers. Sound like they might be somewhere around. And could have a few female impala here that have all come down. These woolly neck storks are generally solitary or can be also found in pairs. They do have territorial tendencies, especially around the nesting and breeding season. So if there's an area that is perfect for them and abundant in food and water, they could hang out in an area for quite a period, just like they have been at this pan for quite some time. Just having a bit of a scan for our weavers. Where have they gone? Generally on the right hand side, that's there. I'm just having a bit of a scan for our weavers, but let's head over to Oldonyo, see what's happening there. Oh wow, what an interesting sight. We have a giraffe. This male's obviously got tired of scanning around and he's decided to have a bit of a rest. Quite unusual to see a giraffe lying down, I must say. So just like elephants, giraffe will rest periodically throughout their day, but they can't afford to be down on the ground for too long. So if a giraffe is lying on the ground, it does mean that he feels very safe. Because if there were any predators nearby, it's very easy to take down a giraffe on the ground, because it's quite a mission for these giraffes to get up off of the ground if they're lying down like this. But this is kind of their resting time, their downtime, their chill time. So yeah. So within a 24-hour period, a giraffe will only lie down or rest per se for anything between 3 to 4 hours, which is normally broken up 20-30 minutes, 20-30 minutes, because yeah, we do have to be very aware, very alert of predators moving around. What will happen is if you get a journey or a tower of giraffe that are together, you might get a few individuals resting at a time, similar with impala and wildebeest, and how most antelope rest at night is you'll have 1 or 2 lying down or a few of the individuals lying down, but there'll always be someone standing up grazing, having a scan, look around, make sure there's no predators, so that if there is anything lurking by, alarm call will be made and everyone will scatter. Oxpeckers are still busy grooming away. Obviously, lots of parasites to be cleaned up on this giraffe's neck here. Can be quite a nuisance, especially at El Doño. We do notice quite a lot of oxpeckers on the giraffe here. When they come down for a drink, oh my goodness, the oxpeckers get into their ears and their eyes, and quite a bit of a nuisance. So big elephant bulls as well, the reason that they don't lie down for long periods is because of their lungs. So it actually does squash their lungs or compresses on their lungs if they lie on one side for too long. So that's why also when you have any sort of darting relocation operations with giraffe and elephants, you actually always need to make sure that you try your best to get them in a bit of a sternal position, or at least make sure they're not completely on their side for on one side for too long, because it does affect their breathing. So that's why elephants, especially big elephant bulls, will generally lie kind of propped up or kind of at a bit of an angle near a big tree or termite mound. This helps not to put too much pressure on their lungs because of that big heavy weight of theirs, and also helps them to be able to get up a lot quicker. Whereas baby elephants, oh my goodness, they roll around and lie on their sides and can nap for hours. So they really have to enjoy those long naps that baby elephants take when they're young, because the bigger they get, the more difficult it is to move around and get up. Also pretty cool to see from this angle the white coloration behind this giraffe's ears here. So it's also a very good form of communication. So animals have many different forms of communication. They have audible communication, which can be heard by humans, non-audible verbal communication. They have a visual communication, and this is one of the forms of visual communication in animals. So in giraffe, how they can spot each other for very long distances is they can see this very white, bright coloration behind their ears from for very far distances. So we're just talking about giraffe yesterday and how there's been a lot of research done about giraffe and communications, and apparently there's a lot of different forms of grunting, growling, and rumbling communications that giraffe communicate between each other that we did not know. Yeah, we didn't understand or don't know. So yeah, awesome to know that there's a lot of technology out there nowadays that can help us to pick up the sound and communication, this infrasound that is audible to our ears, and to know that we always thought that giraffe were completely mute and did not communicate whatsoever. But all of this new technology is proving that there's actually a lot of different forms of communication in giraffe. Yeah, pretty interesting. Have little red-billed oxpeckers taking a bit of a break, enjoying the sunshine. That's quite a lovely photo there, I must say. Any photographers watching today, that would be a lovely portrait photo. Nice and long. The giraffe, all the greenery around. Maybe if we're lucky, a warthog or two might come by for a wallow. That would also be pretty cool to see a warthog passing by as this giraffe is lying down there to give you a bit of a size perspective. These were two males that we had here. I don't know if the other male is still around, but it's probably left. So these males generally can find them singly or in pairs, forming little bachelor groups. But yeah, even with the female giraffe, most giraffes do live in quite loose social structures, uh, loose family groups. So the females will not always stay in the same prenatal herd or group that they were born into. So they'll often move around quite a lot. So they don't have as strong social bonds as that with elephants. So elephants obviously have very tight family bonds or very strong social bonds with one another, and you always have the females, their offsprings, grandmothers, all together in the same prenatal family group, whereas giraffe are not as yeah well known to have such a strong family bond. So males will often engage in that behavior we know as necking, and this is when they will be looking to mate with a female, win the female's affection, establish dominance, and this is when the contesting generally happens between the males in order to fight for mating rights. So the giraffe do play a very important role in the ecosystem. So they do help to control the growth of trees and shrubs, preventing them from becoming too overgrown, which helps other trees to be able to grow. Otherwise, all the canopies of the trees would prevent light from getting down to the ground. So they kind of are like a free gardening service that help to browse vegetation and keep it well maintained. So by feeding on the tops of the trees and also the lower foliage, it does also provide food for other herbivores and antelope like zebra and obviously wildebeest and smaller antelope species. This giraffe is just sitting here chewing away. So he's actually ruminating. So giraffe are ruminants, which is they are part of the suborder of Ruminantia. And that means they do have a four-chambered stomach, so very similar to cows, sheep, deer, as well as your Inyala, Impala. So, in having this four-chambered stomach, they have the four chambers of the rumen, the reticulum, osum, and obosum. Excuse my pronunciation there. So they do have this specialized system, and it helps them break down plant material. So that's how they're able to consume such um, fibrous plant material. So the rumination system helps to break down these plants in order for them to digest their food. So this is what this giraffe is doing right now. He's sitting here, he's regurgitating his food in order to re-chew his food and digest it better. So it's called the cud. So they regurgitate this cud, which they then chew again and then regurgitate that food. So that's how he's sitting there. So it's actually quite cool during the marula season in like Juma. I'm sure you'll see, we've seen a kudu standing once on a termite mound, and she was actually regurgitating marula fruit and chewing on those seeds again. So it was quite cool to see that food coming up the neck. You could see the marula, round marula fruit actually coming up her throat as she ruminated. Alrighty, folks, why don't we head over to Victoria Falls and see if we can catch the vulture feeding time. It looks like we've just caught a bit of the end of the vulture buffet here at Safari Lodge in Victoria Falls. I'm sure these vultures have all cleaned up very quickly. 10 minutes. Shucks, I think normally the feeding time's at 1 o'clock. These vultures, marabou storks, have all managed to clean up all of the food very fast. I'm sure there's a lot of vultures, lots of mouths to feed. I feel like this vulture restaurant is a bit like boarding school. It's either eat or starve. So if you don't fight as much as you can to get food, yep, you're gonna miss out. So as soon as same as at a kill site, these vultures, they all will be fighting as much as they can for food and any little morsel of food that they can get. Otherwise, if you don't, not quick enough, definitely will go hungry. So, mostly we have white-backed vultures here. We do have some marabou storks as well as our hooded vultures. See the hooded vultures with the bare heads and necks, or the pink heads and faces, all coming in for the vulture feeding. So as soon as these vultures have fed, they will then be drawn towards the nearest watering site. So they generally will go to the closest pan for a drink.
Experience the magic of the wild on an unforgettable 4-night safari at Mabula Nature Reserve, hosted by the one and only Stephen Falconbridge. With Steve as your private guide, you'll gain incredible insights into Africa's wildlife, leaving with knowledge and memories to last a lifetime. Get hands-on with conservation, track elusive cheetahs, and even take to the skies on a hot air balloon ride. Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
Every guide in Africa has been on an endless quest for the ultimate bush wear. Until now. Rugged Wear has a huge range of amazing bush gear for every wild situation. In the midday heat, those chilly winter mornings, in the storms of summer. Rugged Wear has the bush kit for every wild occasion. Locally made in South Africa, crafted with precision, stitched with quality.
Join the Wild Earth Explorers program and connect with a community passionate about wildlife. Support our mission to share authentic wildlife experiences with the world. Your monthly contribution helps provide schools and children access to kids' safaris, fostering a love for nature in the next generation. Embrace the wonders of the bush and make a difference today. Wild Earth, connecting with nature. Wild Earth Travel would like to take you to Namibia and Botswana. Drift over the desert in a hot air balloon, then glide through the lush Okavango Delta in a dugout canoe. This extraordinary journey blends dramatic landscapes with outdoor adventures and unparalleled wildlife encounters. Discover Africa like never before. Book now with Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
Habitat loss, so that a lot of the nesting trees that these vultures would nest in are no longer standing. They might have fallen down. So they like to have these big trees near rivers, which have often been either pushed down or no longer standing, so it's difficult for them to find their nesting spots. Lead poisoning is also a huge contributing factor to why these vultures are near threatened. So because of the lead poisoning, it often will weaken the shell of their eggs, and this can already compromise their chicks before they are even hatched from the egg. But yeah, they're a very important part of the ecosystem. They're like these a free parasite or free waste removal system. So it's incredible that the food that they eat, the scraps that they scavenge, to most animals would be inedible, but they have a very strong stomach. These vultures can consume quite nasty food, that meat that would not be consumed by anything else. So please head over to our Twitter, folks, if you'd like to vote. I'm sending a poll out today to see if I can test our viewers on their birding knowledge. I would like to know which is the most critically endangered vulture in Africa. In this group of 3 vultures, we have hooded vulture, white-backed vulture, and the white-headed vulture. So you can head over to Twitter and go and post your vote. These vultures all know that they've got a pretty good deal going here at the Safari Lodge. Always come over every day for their bit of a snack, bit of a meal, but I don't think this food here that they feed them would be enough to feed all of these vultures, so they would still have to head look out for other food. So our vultures have very, very keen eyesight, and that's what they use while soaring above in order to look for any dead animals. So yeah, do find a kill. There's lions there. You'll find them all hoarding in the trees, waiting for the opportunity to come down and feed. Because as long as there is a predator on a kill, lions will often chase vultures away, not giving them access to feed. It's only once all the predators have left, the vultures then come and provide their free cleaning system for all the waste, which is a very good way of getting rid of any bacteria, unwanted bacteria, and all those nasty parasites. It was quite interesting. Last month here at Safari Lodge, we saw some vultures doing quite an interesting behavior. So they were actually anting themselves. So just down by the watering hole, there was about 5, 10 vultures all lying with their wings splayed open on the ground. They weren't wet, so it wasn't like they had swum. So obviously, sometimes when birds clean themselves in the water, they might go and just stand with their wings open to in order to just dry themselves off, but they're actually lying on the ground with their wings splayed out. And this is a behavior known as anting, although I've never actually seen birds anting in that way. I've seen hornbills, 1 or 2 hornbills lying on a road in a colony of ants, just to get the ants onto their feathers. So that formic acid can help as a bit of a anti-parasitic, so they get that formic acid onto their feathers, and it can help to either 1, remove parasites, and 2, to deter parasites. But I've never seen vultures all lying down in a bit of a huddle, hunting themselves in that manner. So it was quite interesting behavior to observe of these vultures. So we've got our pollers running on Twitter. Just will only be running for about 10 minutes, so I've probably got about 5-6 minutes of our poll left now. So if you want to head over to the Twitter, go and leave your vote. I'd love to see how on point our bird knowledge is today of vultures. I know they're not the most beautiful of creatures, but they are a very crucial role in our ecosystem. So Joanne Mello, yes, it is feeding time. I think we're just a little bit late for feeding time, but it's okay because it can sometimes be a little bit chaotic with the vulture feed. But yeah, it looks like these are just the last few left hungry vultures that are looking to pick up on a few scraps. But yeah, there are definitely quite a lot of vultures here. Yeah, on a busy day, you can get anything between 50 to 70, 80 vultures all coming down with the marabou stalks. It can be quite pandemania strikes, and it's quite chaotic. Dark Main Lover, it's a good question about when humans feed vultures, if this interrupts their natural behaviors. As I mentioned earlier, I don't think they put enough food out here for all of these vultures to be fed well. So it's more like just a little bit of a snack for them. They will still have to go out and forage, search for more food, because if you're trying to feed 50, 60, 70 vulture, it's definitely not going to be enough food for them here. In some cases, especially because vultures are such a vulnerable, or in some cases critically endangered species, it can be very helpful to have vulture feeding sites or vulture restaurants, especially when we do the vulture count. I think every year in September there's a vulture count that takes place worldwide, or Africa, all over Africa, that takes place. Everyone sits at all the designated vulture restaurants and all the private reserves, lodges and camps, and this is when we count the vultures. So from a counting perspective, it can be very useful to have these vulture restaurants. Also, obviously, because they're a species that does need help, it is useful to feed them to make sure that we try and preserve the population we have left. But as long as it is a vulture safe zone, so BirdLife Zimbabwe and BirdLife South Africa do work very hard to make these vulture safe zones. So again, one, making sure that whatever food is being put out for the vultures is safe and lead free. So very, very important that it is lead free and you're not contaminating the vultures with lead. And also the water sources around these feeding sites need to also be vulture friendly. So as long as if it's a water trough, you need to make sure that there are sticks, poles, or some people even have little vulture ladders inside the trough to make sure that if the vultures get stuck in the water, they can easily get out. And then of course there's the vulture safe power line. It's like a cover that gets put on the top of the pylons of any of the power lines in the area, in order to prevent vultures from being struck. So as long as it is a vulture friendly and vulture safe zone, I do think feeding the vultures is not always a bad idea, but it just needs to be a vulture safe zone so that they are safe when they come to feed in these areas.
Join Wild Earth Travel on a unique nature adventure in the Greater Kruger Park. Legendary master tracker Renius Mhlongo leads a 4-day animal tracking experience followed by 3 nights in the Sabi Sand Nature Reserve. This experience offers a life-changing chance to track Africa's iconic animals on foot with a master of his craft. Renius is joined by Wild Earth presenter and expert storyteller Amy Krantz, and together they will connect you to Africa's wild heart. Welcome to a new era of seamless travel. Enjoy a hassle-free ticket purchase system with an effortless check-in, offering unbeatable value and a variety of options. Redefine business travel with Africa's award-winning value-based airline. FastJet, value, choice, flexibility. We have some exciting news. To celebrate our new safari location, Mabula Private Game Reserve, Wild Earth Travel is offering an exclusive special offer for our viewers only. Book a stay for 4 nights or more at any of the lodges on Mabula Private Game Reserve and enjoy an extra night absolutely free. Don't miss this limited time offer. Contact Wild Earth Travel today to claim your discount. Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive. Come with us on a beautiful wildlife journey with Safari Spotlight. 4 unique South African locations, countless unforgettable moments, jam-packed with exhilarating and inspiring wildlife sightings, bringing you intimate and exciting virtual safaris.
And then it jumped up like this and shimmied all the way up.
Enjoy jaw-dropping moments as we tell authentic conservation story. Safari Spotlight is your ticket into the heart of the African wild. Safari, wine, and waterfalls. The ultimate African adventure. Sip South Africa's finest wines. Experience a world-class safari among Africa's iconic wildlife. And stand in front of Victoria Falls. one of the natural wonders of the world. All this can be yours with Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
Headed vulture. So if you voted for white-headed vulture, congratulations, coming in at 75% of our voters voted for the white-headed vulture. It is one of Africa's most endangered vulture species. Number 2, white-backed vulture, was 25%, and thank goodness no one voted for hooded vulture. White-backed vultures are quite common vulture species. I'd say it's one of the more common species in southern Africa, as well as your hooded vultures. So congratulations if you voted for the white-headed vultures. Not sure what the current numbers are now, but in 2019, I believe there was only 4 breeding pairs of white-headed vultures left in South Africa. I believe there are a few more breeding pairs now, but yeah, they definitely do need our help in some areas, even though they are villainized in a lot of kids' cartoons and a lot of different documentaries. They're not always the most favorite creature out there, but they are so important for our ecosystem. So just while we're on the topic of endangered vulture species, obviously this is not a species that's in Africa, but in Europe, one of the other very endangered vulture species is the white-rumped vulture. And again, the population has declined very quickly in the last couple of years. In some cases, I know even in the case of the condors, they actually wasn't in Canada. I think the condors in Canada. I had a client on safari a few years ago, and she actually worked for a condor reintroduction program where they'd actually saved the last 2 pairs of condors in this one national park in Canada. And they had actually kept them in captivity for 5 years and had managed to breed them, save their genetics, and they actually released 5 pairs of condors back into the wild, and I believe they're now doing very, very well. So in some cases where populations, like with a lot of vulture species, dwindle down to only a few pairs, where at some stage humans might need to intervene to save the species. That can also be a very big help to the population if they do get rescued and kept in captivity, to try and breed them in order to save the species. But again, it can be quite a big gamble, because not all creatures do well in captivity, and in order to feed and maintain these vultures, it's quite a big task. They have a very high demand in their diet for lots of calcium, lots of roughage, which from time to time they can only get from carcasses. These are some big efforts that can be taken in cases where a species is declining to the stage of it almost being endangered or extinct. Very big thanks to all these organizations, birding, wildlife, all organizations that help these species. Alrighty, seeing as most of our vultures have taken off, why don't we head across to Safari Hook and see what's happening in Namibia. So it looks like we got a little family of kudu that have come down to the watering hole today, taking full advantage of this mineral block that they are licking on. Oh, and we have our Abdon stork is still here. So we had quite an interesting interaction yesterday between this Abdon stork and a waterbuck. There was a female waterbuck that was very curious of our Abdon stork. So he was actually following him around the pan. The poor Abdon stork wasn't quite sure what was happening. But yeah, so lovely little family of kudu that are feeding off this mineral block. So because it is so hot in Namibia, just like humans, animals do have a need in their diet for a lot of salts and minerals. And yeah, sometimes it's not, they don't get enough minerals from the natural environment, although Namibia is known for having a lot of open salt plans and a lot of salt in the soil. But yeah, they obviously have provided these animals with some extra minerals and salts here that they can enjoy. This is where the outlet of the pan is. Often we get namakwa doves coming in here. We'll just keep an eye out for those namakwa doves coming for a drink. Maybe if we're lucky, some sandgrass. And we still have some zebra around. I'm just going to have a bit of a scan around the pan, see what else is out there. Maybe, looks like they're coming in for a drink with a springbok. Oh, we did also see a Thompson's gazelle yesterday, which is pretty awesome over in Old Donyo. I did mistaken it for a springbok, I must admit. But yeah, as soon as they turn around, you can definitely see that Thompson's gazelle, very thick, long horns compared to the springbok. These are female springbok. You can tell the difference quite quickly between a male and female springbok. The female have very long, well, thin, spindly horns, and the males do generally have much thicker horns. Interestingly, springbok is actually the national animal of South Africa, and it symbolizes speed, agility, and resilience. So, very good animal to have as a totem animal, I think, signifying all of these very prominent characteristics: speed, agility, resilience, and also, of course, the national emblem of the South African rugby team as well. Julian Thomas, thank you for your question about a black stork and an Abdon stork. So no, they are a different species, but they can easily be confused as they are both a solitary stork species. So Abdon stork is a bit smaller than a black stork. It has a white rump and a bit of a green-gray a bill, not a red bill. So yeah, they can be easily confused with one another. To me, an Abdon stork looks very similar also to obviously the woolly neck stork, except for it is lacking the white coloration on its neck. And yeah, I think Abdon stork looks a bit pretty, a little bit more of a pretty stork, whereas your black stork is, they look a bit wiry. They look like they didn't have a great night's sleep. They got a bit more blue, like I said, greenish color on their bill, but they can be very easily confused. We see a lot of these springbok females are pregnant, so hopefully they'll be dropping their babies sometime soon. And obviously springbok are famously known for their plonking behavior, which is quite a spectacle when you watch them leaping up into the air, bouncing and displaying with their backs arched. And it can be used as a behavior to confuse predators, to show their fitness and agility, or also to communicate with other herds, and of course a way that the males impress the females. So it's amazing how The animal kingdom has evolved and adapted, and a lot of behavior and a lot of effort is put into mating displays in order to attract females in all species, not just antelope. Wow. So we have our little, is it darter friend here? Yeah, so we've had this darter that's been here for a couple of days now. It's been confusing me for a cormorant from time to time. Also, darters and cormorants can be easily confused, especially because this guy is a juvenile, only black, and when he's been sitting on his little island back there, he's been sitting in a bit of a ball, huddled up. So very easily confused with the cormorant. Apparently, he's got a nest somewhere close by, which I'm still searching and inspecting for, the African darter. So, Catherine, thanks for your comment there about the very successful bearded vulture rewilding project in Europe. Apparently, they were extinct in the wild for over a decade, and now the zoos all over Europe have been breeding them and rewilding them back into various national parks. So, yeah, very awesome to hear these success stories of especially vulnerable and endangered big birds of prey that get rewilded and, yeah, help to save the population. So thank you for that story there. I know condors, bearded vultures, white-headed vultures. I know there's a few places in South Africa that also started breeding white-headed vultures. But again, those eggs of theirs are so temperamental and very vulnerable. So it's not always a success story. So it is great to hear of these success stories. So thank you very much for sharing. Lovely to see these zebra all coming down for a drink. One of my favorite African animals to see on safari. So we have a question from Dark Main Lover is asking about fish. Apparently there was a bit of a fish die out a short time ago in Biffleshoek Dam. So thanks for your question. They're asking about what could have caused this mystery death. So fish are a very good indicator species, Dark Main Lover, and they can very much indicate a bit of an imbalance in the environment. So the common cause of a bit of a die out of fish in this extent could be obviously lowered levels of oxygen in the water.
There's a big male leopard coming this way.
What an absolute beauty. Yeah, guys, we've got Lalamba and Cub. We've got Lalamba and Shapondo. Look at this. This is amazing. Become a Wild Earth YouTube member today and unlock extras and bonuses, like ad-free streams so you can stay immersed in your safari without any interruption. Have your burning questions answered first by me or other expert naturalists. Join now to avoid missing out on these amazing benefits. Help us connect people to nature.
Kenya's people, the landscapes and spectacular wildlife make it the ultimate safari destination. Come with me to the Masai Mara and Amboseli in May 2025. We'll explore the vast savannas looking for predators and then marvel at Kilimanjaro as the last big tuskers graze below. This safari is the perfect nature connection to calm the soul and escape from the world's folly.
So lovely to see all these zebra down at the watering hole today. Some nice, very healthy looking zebra here. So we got a good question from Starbuck about, do zebra need to drink water daily? So yes, zebra are water dependent, so they do need to drink water at least once to twice a day, preferably in the early morning, late afternoons. But zebra do also manage to absorb quite a lot of water and moisture through the grass that they feed on. So the passing of this grass through their digestive system does also provide some water for them. And yeah, they could possibly go for a day or two without water, but preferably zebra do like to drink at least once to twice a day. So that's why a lot of these water dependent species, you won't find them too far from water. So that was quite interesting. We're talking about zebra and how often zebra need to drink. So also when it comes to feeding, zebra do eat constantly throughout the day to maintain that digestive system of theirs. So zebra, again, are very similar and have a very similar digestive system to that of horses. They need to be constantly moving and eating, moving and eating. So this is how horses should be able to survive as well. Unfortunately, us humans have minimize the movement of horses by putting them into stables and paddocks, which is not great for horses because they need to constantly be moving in order for that digestive system of theirs to be working. So just as zebra do, they have a very high percentage of bacteria in their stomach, and that helps them to be able to digest all of that food that they consume. But that's why you always find most antelope species, zebra, wildebeest, and impala, they'll constantly be feeding and moving. 90% of these zebra diet does consist of very coarse grass, and again, that's why they need to have such a high bacteria content or bacteria supply in their stomach in order to digest this very coarse grass. This is probably 2 or 3 different harems or herds here, all coming down to drink together. So sometimes it can be some conflict. Just like on the right-hand side, sometimes the stallions are not too fond of one another. Sounds like we might have a visitor at the pan. Is there an elephant close by? Ooh, looks like we have another big friend that's come to visit. Alright folks, why don't we head across to El Doño and see what other large mammals we have waiting for us there. So we just had our giraffe in this exact spot where the baboon is sitting earlier, just taking a bit of a rest. And I was just thinking it would be lovely if we had a baboon or a monkey in front of the giraffe so you can kind of get a nice photo with a bit of a size perspective. But it seems like our giraffe friend didn't hang around for long enough. but they definitely are enjoying this nice green vegetation. Sorry, folks. I think we had a little bit of signal issues over in Aldonio. So we've just linked back across to Juma over in the Sabi Sands. Let's see if there's anything hanging around Gari Dam. Again, lovely weather today, nice and overcast. If you're just joining us, we've had a bit of rainfall this morning in South Africa, pretty much all morning actually. Most of our South African locations look like they're having some lovely overcast weather, which is perfect time for kitty cats to be prowling around. Maybe Shalamba and Chipondo will join us and come down to the watering hole. Generally find a lot of Inyala in these nice open areas here. Maybe we get a brown snake eagle, African hawk eagle would be cool. Maybe a fish eagle, although there's no water in the dam at the moment. What do we have up in this tree here? See lots of nice grass for all the antelope species at Juma. Alright, why don't we head across to Stony Point and see what is waiting for us in Cape Town. Well, looks like we have some cormorants here that have come in from their morning of cooking escapades. Generally these cormorants, they'll spend most of their day out cooking in the ocean and then coming back to rest on the rocks while their digestive food a bit dry off. Have a bit of a break in between their next fishing mission. A little colony of cormorants all together. I'm having a search on the beach to see if there's any penguins out there. We're often on the beach where we find quite a lot of penguins sometimes hanging out. These do look like the Cape cormorants. Pretty much pitch black, and the adults, or breeding adults, are very colourful on the face. They do have a bit of an orange sear underneath the bill there, and the eye does turn quite an iridescent blue colour to the breeding adults. So, looks like we have an Egyptian goose also having a bit of a roam around to see if there's any. Oh, there's some penguins. Lovely to see some penguins today. It's been a while since we've seen the penguins here.
Join Wild Earth Travel on a unique nature adventure in the Greater Kruger Park. Legendary master tracker Renius Mhlongo leads a 4-day animal tracking experience followed by 3 nights in the Sabi Sand Nature Reserve. This experience offers a life-changing chance to track Africa's iconic animals on foot with a master of his craft. Renius is joined by Wild Earth presenter and expert storyteller Amy Krantz, and together they will connect you to Africa's wild heart.
Become a Wild Earth YouTube member and unlock exclusive bonuses and benefits. Enjoy uninterrupted, ad-free streams so you can stay immersed in nature. Have your burning questions answered first by me or other expert naturalists. Enjoy exclusive access to special broadcasts and videos, and help us to connect people to nature.
Join the Wild Earth Explorers program and connect with a community passionate about wildlife. Support our mission to share authentic wildlife experiences with the world. Your monthly contribution helps provide schools and children access to kids' safaris, fostering a love for nature in the next generation. Embrace the wonders of the bush and make a difference today. Wild Earth, connecting with nature. It's finally here, the next Wild Earth Grand Tour. Get ready for 7 unforgettable nights of prime wildlife viewing in the Sabi Sands during peak predator season. Immerse yourself with past and present Wild Earth presenters. Participate in a rhino conservation experience and get a behind-the-scenes look at wildlife filmmaking. Hosted by James Hendry. Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
Okay folks, well I don't know about the rest of our viewers, but I love listening to the sound of the ocean. So why don't we have a bit of a quiet, meditative moment, just take in the beautiful scenery of these penguins and Egyptian geese and listen to the sound of the waves crashing down. Just enjoying this time, folks, to just listen to the ocean. Oh, I'm loving the sound of the ocean and looking at this beautiful landscape in Cape Town. Just picture yourself in Cape Town here, just enjoying the scenery, listening to the ocean, and just taking a good time for yourself. A lot of kelp that has washed up from the ocean today. I must say I was rather surprised first time I went to Cape Town and saw all this kelp washing up in Cape Town. So we do have a cleanup organization in Cape Town that does come and collect a lot of this kelp that washes up from the ocean. Well, otherwise, really difficult to get down to the ocean on some days. We'll also keep our eyes peeled, see if we can find any hyraxes and rock duckies that are lurking around. And of course, always entertaining to watch these little cormorants grooming themselves in the sunshine. So a lot of the kelp from the ocean here. All the waves and currents just wash up a lot of kelp. Often you do get a lot of fish species that do wash up as well. So yeah, always definitely love exploring the ocean to see what else is out there. But with this high amount of kelp that washes up in Cape Town, it does bring a lot of dead fish species, which can be quite yeah, you do find occasionally a few dead fish from time to time here and there. Okay, the seagull as well. That looks like a grey-headed gull. Look for our hyraxes that week. Like a little bit of movement there. So again, on a bit of an overcast day like today, if the sun is not out, it can be difficult to see these hyraxes. There's no sunshine. Like we have a juvenile seagull here. Also giving himself morning groom. And unfortunately, I think with cold weather, hyraxes aren't out and about this morning. Cape Town is definitely a person with a place where you can get 5 seasons in a day: wind, rain, sunshine, storms, beauty weather. Oh my goodness. Yeah, have you ever been to Cape Town? I'm sure you know exactly about. So just to answer some questions, we have a question from Catherine about penguin species. So yes, there is only one penguin species in Africa. Obviously this is the African penguin, or the Africa's penguin that we see here in Stony Point. Obviously can be found along the coastal regions of southern Africa, as well as Namibia, where you get these breeding colonies, especially around Boulders Beach near Cape Town. And of course the Dusson Islands as well as Robben Island. So a lot of these areas have actually recently become protected areas in order for the penguins to breed. I think this is Kelp Gal, if I'm not mistaken. Some interesting yellow gull there. Gal, I think this is Kelp. A bit larger than the grey-headed gull. Just checking my bird out quickly, but I'm pretty sure this is a kelp. And he's also giving himself a nice room while he's going by his company. Yeah, there we go. Looks like kelp, yeah. I love how these kelp gulls have a yellow bill with a little red tip on the base of their bill there.
Experience the magic of the wild on an unforgettable 4-night safari at Mabula Nature Reserve. Hosted by the one and only Stephen Falconbridge. With Steve as your private guide, you'll gain incredible insights into Africa's wildlife, leaving with knowledge and memories to last a lifetime. Get hands-on with conservation, track elusive cheetahs, and even take to the skies on a hot air balloon ride. Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive. Welcome to a new era of seamless travel. Enjoy a hassle-free ticket purchase system with an effortless check-in, offering unbeatable value and a variety of options. Redefine business travel with Africa's award-winning value-based airline. FastJet, value, choice, flexibility. Come with us on a beautiful wildlife journey with Safari Spotlight. 4 unique South African locations, countless unforgettable moments, jam-packed with exhilarating and inspiring wildlife sightings, bringing you intimate and exciting virtual safaris.
And it jumped up like this and shimmied all the way up.
Enjoy jaw-dropping moments as we tell authentic conservation stories. Safari Spotlight is your ticket into the heart of the African wild. Wild Earth Travel would like to take you to Namibia and Botswana. Drift over the desert in a hot air balloon, then glide through the lush Okavango Delta in a dugout canoe. This extraordinary journey blends dramatic landscapes with outdoor adventures and unparalleled wildlife encounters. Discover Africa like never before. Book now with Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
So these little pups or infant hyraxes are generally born with ears and eyes that are open, and within an hour of being born they can actually already run and jump all over the place. How cute is that? You don't see that every day, little hyrax pups. They also have obviously very luxurious fluffy coats, especially in Cape Town, very useful, keeping them warm. And it's quite cute that because hyraxes obviously live in colonies, they will often have nursery groups formed within the colony, and that's where all the babies will hang out during the day to play and with their parents taking break in that. And this is where the mothers will actually take turns to babysit the little creche of rock fussy house. So these pups will generally suckle for about until they're 3 months old, and that's when the mother will then start to wean them. But from time to time, this is like the male on the right hand side. So obviously females can be a bit larger than the males in order to feed and look after the pups. There's actually 3 pups here. I thought there was only 2. How cute! So females will, hyraxes will often stay with their colony for life, but males sometimes leave and do move from one colony to another after the age of about 2 years old. So when these little pups grow up, if any of them are males, after the age of about 2, they'll start to find themselves another colony. And generally, hyrax colonies can be anything 50 to 50 individuals within the colony. Oh my goodness, there might even be 4. Oh, no, okay, it's just three. That's almost 3 little Hyrax pups. Isn't this a cool sighting? Timmy, I agree with you there. This is really cute. They're playing this little peekaboo game. So it's quite interesting. I didn't realize, but obviously these hyraxes have 4 mammary glands. So 2 in the back, 2 in the front. This is a very large female hyrax, I must say. You can see this individual on the side here is rotating between suckling at the back and suckling at the front. Obviously, when the milk starts to run out the back, then he comes to the front to have a good suckle. Oh, these guys look like they must be about, I'd say, heading on 2.5, 3 months old already. And they'll probably be weaned sometime soon. To me, this definitely is cuteness overload watching these little hyraxes. They must. See just the back of a hyrax breathing there. So Davy Man has sent a comment through about the mermaids. So yeah, we had a good question about mermaids, and again, not 100% sure on all of these mermaid facts. I just know in Zimbabwe there's been reported mermaid sightings, supposedly, in some of our caves and underground. Time for a bathroom break for this little hyrax, but that is quite a larger hyrax replication. But yeah, Davy Man, thank you for your comment there. So apparently, according to an interpreted signboard in New York, in the UK, mermaids can be seen off the coast and remarkably are more often seen by children than seals and dolphins. So yeah, again, it might be a mystery. Who knows? Yeah, one of those mysteries of the world. Do mermaids occur? Are there mermaids out there? Like many of these other mysterious and mystical creatures, and if Bigfoot exists, if there's such a thing as all these very mysterious creatures. Obviously found the Hyrax toilet here. Goodness, that's a very big Hyrax toilet here. Just having a scan to see if there's any other Hyraxes hanging out in the sun. Quite interesting, just learning a new fact here. So, Cat Fan mentioned about the very unusual placement of the teats in the Hyrax. So I thought they only had 2 pairs, so a total of 4 mammae, but they actually have 8 mammary glands, so 4 pairs of mammae which are actually positioned along the ventral side of their body, and this helps to distribute the milk while nursing in order to feed multiple offspring. So imagine trying to breastfeed 4 little Hyraxes. Yeah, definitely 4 pairs of mane would not be enough to actually have 8 mane or 4 pairs of mane underneath their belly. So yeah, very interesting placement of the mane there. And their lactation system reflects their evolution and how they've been able to adapt as small mammals and living in colonies. So their parental investment is very crucial for the survival of their offspring. So they need to be able to feed as many offspring as they can at one time in order to have their offspring survive. So yeah, shucks, learn new interesting fun facts every day. It's very interesting to learn that about the little rock duckies. Dark main lover, I definitely agree with you there. These little dassies are very cute. Alrighty, folks. Well, why don't we head back to Namibia and see what's happening at Safari Hook? Seems like we're having some slight camera difficulties at our camera at Safari Hook. Just gonna have a bit of a scan to see what else is out there today. What is waiting for us? What's happening at our other locations? There we go. Managed to get some signal back here at Safari Hook, and we have a tiny little baby elephant. Oh my goodness gracious me. This baby elephant looks like it's probably only a few days or a week old, and look how cute he is. It's got a bit of a tuskless female there, and looks like these elephants have come down for a nice midday mud bath. Isn't this baby elephant just adorable? I'm sure he's enjoying the mud just as much as all the other elephants are. No. So when an elephant is small like this, their trunks are not quite as useful as I think they would hope them to be. So it does take quite some time for a little baby elephant to figure out how all those muscles work in its trunk and to develop that dexterity that they normally have to be able to have such a dexterous trunk. But it does take quite a lot of practice for a little elephant like this to figure out his trunk. So they often drink straight from their mouths, or bend down into the water and drink from their mouths when they're still young. Sandy Franklin, good morning, or good afternoon from us here in Southern Africa. I hope you are having a lovely morning and enjoying watching this little baby elephant with us.
Join Wild Earth Travel on a unique nature adventure in the Greater Kruger Park. Legendary master tracker Renius Mhlongo leads a 4-day animal tracking experience followed by 3 nights in the Sabi Sand Nature Reserve. This experience offers a life-changing chance to track Africa's iconic animals on foot with a master of his craft. Renius is joined by Wild Earth presenter and expert storyteller Amy Krantz, and together they will connect you to Africa's wild heart. We are thrilled to announce our new exclusive feature for YouTube members and explorers. Join us live every Tuesday for our sunrise and sunset safaris. Experience Tawny Tuesday like never before with up-close encounters and breathtaking moments. Don't miss out. Become a YouTube member or explorer today and immerse yourself in the heart of the bush. See you Tuesday. Safari, wine, and waterfalls. The ultimate African adventure. Sip South Africa's finest wines. Experience a world-class safari among Africa's iconic wildlife. And stand in front of Victoria Falls, one of the natural wonders of the world. All this can be yours with Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
So nothing better to watch at this moment than this little baby elephant and its mother. I was trying to figure out if the tuskless female was its mother or did go to another individual, but it could always be a relative or close family member. I'm not sure what it's doing right now. It's just having one of those inconvenient moments when it needs to roll right in the sand, right in front of them. These elephants are all using this tree as a rubbing post here, all taking great advantage of having a good old scratch. Yeah, so often you'll see a lot of rubbing posts near watering holes, and this is where a lot of not just elephants but also warthogs and buffalo will take full advantage of having a good scratch before they head off into the bush again, getting rid of all of those ectoparasites and having a good scratch, removing all those itchy spots. Oh goodness, he's so cute. I think the baby's really getting in the way here. I don't know what he realizes what's actually happening. But these two female adults just want to enjoy themselves and have a scratch, but this is how they learn from watching their mothers. So this female elephant on the left-hand side, the mother of this baby, seems to have a bit of a distended uterus, and that could be a sign of that how fresh and how newly born this little baby is. So sometimes mother elephants might have a bit of a distended uterus for the first couple of days or first week or so after their babies have been born. Not sure what this baby elephant is doing, but he's having a great time. Nice to see all the mopani trees are getting their leaves again. Not too sure if these areas will get too much grass for the rains, but oh, look at this. You can see a little baby's trunk. It's trying to use its trunk there. So we'll head off to go and find some more suitable browsing areas after having a nice visit to the pan. Spassy and Carl, thank you for watching today. It definitely made my day watching this tiny little baby elephant. It's lovely to have seen this breeding herd coming down to Safari Hook. There weren't too many elephants earlier. We had some springbok, zebra. We actually, yeah, springbok, zebra, and we saw kudu today, which was pretty cool. But yeah, it's lovely to see these elephants coming down for a visit. There's probably still some elephants drinking at the watering hole. Alrighty, well, seeing as our elephants have made their way off, I think we should do the same thing. Why don't we head over to Tower Lodge and see what else is waiting for us at one of our other locations? Alrighty, so we haven't visited the Tower Lodge today yet, so this is our first time coming over, linking over to Madikwe Game Reserve. Lovely to see that our great white great white egret is still with us today. Still seems like a lot of Egyptian geese around and some zebra coming down for a drink. Still looks a little bit dry, although there's a bit of cloud cover, so hopefully they'll be in for some rain here at this location. But otherwise, yeah, it's been a bit quiet at Towels. But we did have a pretty epic sighting, was it on Tuesday, of a crocodile that almost took down a wildebeest. Yeah, that was very, very close. Fortunately, because of the dwindling water levels, the poor crocodile did not manage to get the wildebeest underwater. And looks like we've still got our 3 African spoonbills. Oh, we do have a brave wildebeest that's also come to join, but he seems very nervous. I wonder if it's our wildebeest that got bitten by the crocodile the other day. Lots of Egyptian goose activity, and we also have some spurwing geese also in the pan. We had some shelled ducks here the other day. I'm sure they're still hanging around somewhere. Oh, there we go. Oh, might be our shell duck on the right, or it could be our white-faced whistling duck as well. But I've never seen so many Egyptian geese around, so definitely a lot of Egyptian geese here. It's probably the only pan in the area with some nice grass for them to feed on. Oh, and we have two knob-billed ducks as well coming to join the duck party. Dark Main Lover, thank you for joining us today. It's been a pleasure hosting you here on Live at the Waterhole. I hope that you also enjoy the rest of your day. In the meantime, we are just enjoying watching these ducks. The Egyptian geese are busy feeding away on the tips of the grass, and there we go. You can see a very pretty or handsome specimen of this knob-billed duck. Male on the right, and we do have the female is on the left. You get beautiful coloration, especially in the sunshine. You can see the iridescence on their wings there, kind of shining and glowing in the sun. The blue, bit of purple, and a bit of green. The males, it is breeding season, so I'm sure the males, in one of my locations I was at in Zimbabwe last month, we had the knob-billed ducks almost every single day fighting with one another. So the males will like flap their wings and try and beat each other with their wings. So yeah, lots of conflict with the ducks, knob-billed ducks at this time while fighting for the female's affection. So you see that knob of the male will grow quite substantially during the breeding season. Again, all in efforts to impress the females. So generally you'll find these knob-billed ducks in pairs, although sometimes you can find them in little mini flocks of 4, 6, or 8, again all together. So they are kind of common residents, so they will stay in one area for a long extended period of time. Like this male knob-billed duck was not impressed with the Egyptian goose being close by. So thank you for the comments that are coming through, Catherine. Thank you for joining us today. And Joanne Mello, I hope you also have a fabulous Thursday afternoon. The weekend is very quickly approaching. Tomorrow, yeah, Friday. I can't believe it is Friday already. I will also be with you again tomorrow for Live at the Waterhole. Looking forward to seeing what else is out there. From me and the rest of the Wild Earth team, I just want to say a big thank you for joining us today. Don't forget to tune in to the Sunset Safari coming up next. Have a lovely day, folks. Happy Thursday, and enjoy the rest of your week.